You can have it all. Great pay, awesome benefits, a flexible schedule, the chance to grow. At Cox, we're recruiting auto and diesel technicians to join our Mannheim and Fleet Services teams. If you're ready for a new job and want to experience an award-winning workplace, drive your career forward with us. Visit cox.career/autotech to learn more. That's cox.career/autotech.
Zaxby's Sensation Salad is so much more than a plain old salad. It's a salad, which begs the question, at what point does a salad stop being a salad and become a salad? Is it when you add Zaxby's fried chicken to it? Crunchy wontons? Asian slaw? Citrus vinaigrette? Teriyaki glaze? Sweet and spicy sauce? Or is it when you top it all with a handmade perfectly fried egg roll? Without a doubt, the egg roll. The Sensation Salad, only at Zaxby's.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Morning Ray. I'm your host, LAN or Alana, and welcome to our 4-year anniversary episode. I know so many big milestones in the past week or so. We had our 200th episode last week, 4 years this week on the 20th specifically. So Wednesday, if you're listening to this, November 20th marks 4 years of the pod. I can't believe we've been doing it for this long. Really, really surreal and crazy. And thank you for being here every step of the way. But we're doing our monthly advice ask column, Ask LAN. I have a Google form that I keep in the show notes that you can submit your questions to. I've decided that I'm going to make a new one for each month. That way I know if I've answered the questions or not. So make sure that you are asking from the link in the most recent episode always if you are seeking advice, questions, concerns, whatever it may be. But I'm super excited to do this episode. It's always one of my favorites. I love talking with you guys. Well, it feels like I'm talking with you guys. I love sharing my perspective and my advice, but I would love to give this little disclaimer. I am just a 25-year-old girl, and obviously I don't know every single detail of the situation or the thing you are asking advice for. It's just based off of what you provided to me, my own life experiences, my own perspective on the situation or what you're asking me about. So take everything I say. If it serves you, take it. If it doesn't, leave it. It's almost like you're talking to your best friends, debating, getting advice, getting feedback. Maybe you're talking to your big sister. That's kind of the vibe that we have going on here. Let's get into the life updates. I taught my first Pilates class last Monday. When you're listening to this, I would have taught my second class, and I was not nervous at all, which really just shocked me. It really, really did. And it honestly felt super natural. Definitely still had a few hiccups as per expected, but I didn't feel nervous before. I didn't feel nervous during. I didn't feel nervous when everyone was walking in. I felt really calm. Normally when I'm like kind of anxious, at least this used to happen before business presentations in school or even at my Hot Girl Sweat events before I speak, my voice would always feel super shaky to me, even if it didn't sound shaky to like my friends or you guys who were there. But I just felt like my voice was really steady. I didn't feel nervous at all, which was just so weird. So hopefully my second class goes the same way. I've already prepared the outline, which is so much fun to do. Definitely taking inspiration from flows and series and sequences that I enjoy in the Pilates classes that I take, and then adding my own little twist and flair to it. And then also feel like my For You page on TikTok is now all these like steal my flows or Pilates moves of the day type thing. And it's super fun. So we've really been having fun with that. And then it's fun picking out your own music and getting to curate your own playlist. If you live in Toronto, I'll be teaching 2 more classes at the Health Cafe on November 23rd. It's a Saturday. I'll be teaching 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. And I'll have some Taylor Swift themed songs in there since it's the Eras tour in Toronto right now and next weekend. So definitely come and make it if you can. You can use code Alana for, I believe it's 15% off a class, and they're like $28. So makes it probably around like 25 or something, or closer to 20. I don't know, but definitely come if you're in Toronto and can make it. I leave for London in literally a week, and I have not planned anything. Like I have a few plans with my mom's friend who's there and her husband, who I met last time when I was in London. I have dinner plans with 2 girls I grew up dancing with who both live there now, and I may or may not be not going alone anymore. I'll leave it to that. I'll leave it to your imagination. But the first half of my trip to London won't be solo. And then I go to South Africa with my dad to visit my aunts and uncles and all my cousins, which I'm so excited about. I'll be there for about a week and a half. And then I come back to London for 3 days, which will be all by myself, which I'm super excited for. So I still get my little solo trip. And then I come back home mid-December. So I'll be away for quite a while, almost 3 weeks, just short of 3 weeks. So all the podcast episodes that you are going to listen to up until December 16th, including it, will be pre-recorded. So I probably won't have life updates and current faves in those episodes just because I'm going to be recording them all next week, which is definitely going to be a thing. I think I'm going to try to record one each day so that my voice doesn't get burnt out and I don't feel burnt out and you listening to this doesn't feel like boring and dry and whatnot, because I already know I have a monotone voice. My voice gets raspy. It's kind of getting raspy right now, but that's just the morning race specialty. But yeah, I'm super excited for London. I've heard it's beautiful around Christmas and the holidays. I don't even celebrate Christmas, but I love the Christmas spirit and I'm excited to go to all the Christmas and holiday markets and to see the Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park and get to experience like the cozy, romantic London vibe in November and December. Packing for London and South Africa, which are 2 completely different vibes, 2 completely different seasons. Like it's 30 degrees, like really hot in South Africa right now, like UV index of 11, and it's around like 10 degrees in London, gloomy, rainy, kind of cold. So definitely very different vibes. I think 3/4 of my suitcase will most definitely be like my winter stuff, and then the 1/4 of my suitcase will be my summer stuff, just because summer stuff is smaller and lighter and more chill, and I probably, just because I'm with family, like I'll get away with just wearing the same like few things and I can do my washing while I'm there, which will be nice since I'm away for so long. This might be a little TMI if you're a boy, kind of fast forward, but like this podcast is for the girls. I don't know if this is too TMI to share, but I feel like this is girl chat on here and I'm sure I'm not alone, but I had a scare with my IUD. I still don't really know what's going on. I'm really convinced that it's out of place right now, and I've had it for 4 years and have never had any issues. Like obviously at the beginning I was like a bit paranoid, like the first 6 months that I had it, but this past week and a bit, something is off. So I spoke to my doctor. I'm getting an ultrasound, which I hate ultrasounds. I have the smallest bladder in the world and they always make you drink so much water and hold it, and it's just uncomfortable. So hopefully praying that everything is in check and nothing has shifted, because that's literally like my biggest fear, is it shifting or something happening, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. So I'm sorry if I'm giving you the heebie-jeebies, but if you have ever had an experience with your IUD and want to give me some insight, as long as you don't think it's going to scare me, my DMs are open. Please feel free to DM me at Alana Bloomberg on Instagram. I'm definitely a bit in my head and like worried because I leave next Monday for 3 weeks, and obviously I don't want something to happen while I'm overseas, especially when I'm in South Africa, where, you know, I don't really know like the healthcare situation. Probably better if it happens in London, but obviously like don't want it to happen while I'm traveling internationally, you know. But yeah, just been dealing with that. A lot of weird things happening. Just knowing you feel like something is off. I feel like as women, we have a really good like intuition and like gut knowing, like something is just off. And hopefully this ultrasound can either tell me if it shifted and I need to get it out and replaced, etc., or like just give me peace of mind that like everything is okay. But then I'm also like, what the fuck is happening and why are things feeling weird? But nonetheless, I also did the shoot for the launch of my clothing brand. If you didn't know, I'm coming out with a clothing brand by Ray. It's going to be launching in December. I've decided I'm coming out with trucker hats. They are so nice, in my opinion, not to be biased. Probably a biased opinion because I did create them, but I'm so excited for you guys to see the vision that I've been planning for the past few months and to see it all come together. If you want to stay up to date with everything and to know when things are dropping, definitely sign up for the email subscription on the website. It's just byrae.ca, byrae.ca. I'll have it linked in the show notes, but I'm super, super excited for that. And the shoot was so much fun. I did it with my friend Sydney from middle school or high school. Like we went to like neighbor high schools, but she's the sweetest angel and just so talented. And it was so nice getting to do it with someone who I'm super comfortable around and just also got my vision. On to my current faves. Okay, current faves. Number 1, I'm on a flat white kick. I'm obsessed with flat whites right now. They are just chef's kiss or a cappuccino. I kind of switch between the two, but whenever I'm out, I order a flat white, definitely on my hot coffee grind. I'm so happy that it is cooler, chillier weather out, only for the fact that I love fall fashion. I missed wearing my Aritzia slouch coat. If you've been listening since last fall winter season, then you would know my obsession with this jacket and how it was the best investment I have ever made. I get so many compliments on it. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, you can wear it over sweats, you can wear it over a nice outfit for dinner or events or anything like that, or dates. And it's really warm because it's 100% wool. I looked at coats that were similar from H&M and Zara and everything, and none of them were 100% wool, which meant that they wouldn't be warm enough. It is worth the $400 investment. Trust me. The Aritzia slouch coat, I have it in black. I really want it in a dark brown now, but it's expensive. I don't know if I need another one. I feel like my list of things to buy, to do, activities that involve spending money is never ending around the holidays, making the idea of investing and saving and thinking about your future to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more overwhelming. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for you, your kids, and your retirement, even during the holidays. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start automatically investing your money in just 5 minutes. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. That could be $5 a day or even just your spare change. That's right. Acorns can round every purchase you make up to the dollar and automatically invest your spare change for you. And you can get bonus investments just for buying the stuff you need from the brands you love. I personally love Acorns. It's simplified the investment process, which can be overwhelming and intimidating, but it just makes it so simple, so easy, and something more accessible no matter how much money you have to invest. Head to acorns.com/Alana or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/Alana. I'm super excited about today's sponsor. They've sponsored the podcast before, and this is a topic I'm super passionate about. I fear that us as girls struggle with PMS far more than we should, and we really shouldn't. I truly get the worst PMS symptoms. My boobs are sensitive, my face breaks out, my sugar controllings are out of whack. I feel like I'm just a bottomless pit. My mood is not the vibe, and Estro Control has been super helpful in helping manage those PMS symptoms and making that time of the month a lot more enjoyable. Estro Control is a formula developed by Happy Mammoth, a supplement company dedicated to making women's lives easier. Say no more. Estro Control contains science-backed herbal extracts that help support hormonal health, especially if you are someone like myself who struggles with PMS. It was created to help women feel like themselves all month long and to not struggle with the feelings PMS can cause. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code Alana at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code Alana for 15% off today.
You can have it all. Great pay, awesome benefits, a flexible schedule, the chance to grow. At Cox, we're recruiting auto and diesel technicians to join our Mannheim and Fleet Services teams. If you're ready for a new job and want to experience an award-winning workplace, drive your career forward with us. Visit cox.career/autotech to learn more. That's cox.career/autotech.
I've also been obsessed. Well, I've only done this once in the past week, but it made me remember how much I actually really like this. But doing a coffee shop work date with a friend, I went to a cafe near me with my friend Jess earlier this week, and I was so productive. Normally when I'm at home, I kind of get like ADHD, I procrastinate, I kind of jump all over the place, I get into tasks, I fall out of them. But at the coffee shop, I literally grinded out 3 podcast episode outlines, which would take a lot more concentration and willpower at home. And it's also a nice switch up from just working at home or working in the office. If you can go to a coffee shop and do work or study, such a good vibe, and also a way to kind of make it a bit social and have more quality time with a friend. Another current fave of mine is having a weekly ritual with friends, either like a coffee date and walk, or going to the sauna or cold plunge place like that you might have near you and going for dinner afterwards. I really love just having a weekly routine with my friends. Just makes it so much fun, and it's something special to look forward to, and it's something that's special for just you two or like your group of friends. And then as always, I feel like I always do this, but I've really been hyperfixating on it lately. It's kind of just my personality, but romanticizing my city, like learning how to love Toronto again and see it through those rose-colored glasses. And this is my 6th current fave because it came out last night when I'm recording this, but Two Hands by Tate McRae, and the music video, just chef's kiss, so good. You knew that one was coming. On to the Q&A. We're starting Ask LAN. On theme with some of our life updates. How did you plan your solo trip to London? Were you scared about traveling alone? Safety tips. I really want to do what you did, but I'm nervous for safety reasons. So I got an itinerary from one of my friends who had recently gone to London, and then I also got recommendations from other friends and family friends that had gone to London or were living in London in terms of like cafes and restaurants and workouts and whatnot. I also went onto TikTok and looked at a bunch of things. I feel like you can find a lot of travel guides on social media nowadays, which is really, really great. I'm sure you could even find like full blown out itineraries. In terms of like safety tips, I decided that I wasn't going to stay in an Airbnb. I just personally don't feel safe in Airbnbs to begin with, and being in a new city, a girl alone, I did not want to play with faith and everything. And just there are so many horror stories about Airbnbs. So I stayed in a hotel. I did pick nicer hotels. I did pick nicer areas. I really looked at reviews and ratings on the hotels to make sure that like it was exactly what it was selling it to be. I really like staying in the Hoxton Hotel Group's hotels and their properties. My manager also recommended those hotels to me. Same with my family friend who lives there. She recommended it as well. I felt so safe. There's always a doorman. There's always staff downstairs in the lobby, no matter what time of day it was. So just like choosing a place that feels really comfortable and safe to you. In terms of like walking on the streets, I usually didn't keep headphones in my ears. I always was aware of my surroundings, just like I would be in Toronto. I always made sure that my phone was fully charged. If my phone battery was running low, I made sure to head back home. I always had a portable charger on me as well to help with that. I try not to walk alone at night in streets. What else? I took the tube a lot in London, and if it was late at night and I was like going on a date, because I did go on dates there, I would Uber. I also had my location shared with my friends back home, and I would let them know when I was leaving for a date where my hotel was, where the date was, just so that they could check in on me and make sure everything was okay. My parents also had my location as well, which I think is also a really good safety tip. Even if you're living at home in a city, especially if you live alone, or even if you just live with friends in the city or with roommates, I think sharing locations with one another is super important, especially like if you're going out on your own. You never know what could happen, especially as a female. But I never once felt unsafe. I never was like nervous or anxious or anything, especially with regard to my safety. I walked and wandered around a lot alone, and I never once felt unsafe. I was a little paranoid about my phone because of all the phone stealings that happened. So I always just kept my phone kind of close to me. I always kept a book on me when I was traveling around. This time around, I'll have my Kobo with me at all times, just so much lighter, and I don't have to worry about packing multiple books. I'll just have them downloaded on not my Kobo, my Kindle. But yeah, so basically in terms of planning my trip, I got itineraries from my friends, recommendations from friends, even from followers as well. I do have like a recommendation list on my London highlight on my Instagram if you want to check that out. And then I just like planned out the day. So in Google Docs, I created a little itinerary. I wrote out like what I wanted to do that day. I kind of did it by area for London. So like if I wanted to do like Notting Hill, then I like did all the things that were on my to-do list or checklist under Notting Hill on that day. And then say like one day I wanted to do like Mayfair and Marylebone, then like that day, like all the things that I wanted to do in that area, I did in that day. But I just like kind of outlined it in my itinerary. I personally am not like someone that loves to have a super planned out schedule. So I gave a lot of room for like downtime and just like wandering and like doing things more spontaneously and kind of ebb and flowing. I feel like the first half of my trip before I went to Italy in the summer was super planned out and I had a lot more filling my days. But then the second leg of my trip, when I came back from Italy and was in London again, because I did like majority of like the sightseeing and whatnot in the beginning, my days afterwards were a lot more lax. But yeah, and then like I didn't really make reservations anywhere. I made a few reservations. I think I made actually only one dinner reservation because the rest of my nights were filled up with dates or like plans with friends. So like any like solo dinner dates, honestly, because it was just me, sometimes I would just get room service or I would just like walk. Well, not room service. I'd order like Uber Eats or what's their delivery service called? Deliveroo. That was like in London, that's their like Uber Eats, Deliveroo. So I would like sometimes get that or like go and get something, or like I did get room service I think one time. But yeah, that's kind of like how I did my solo trip to London in terms of safety. Again, just like always making sure my phone was charged, being aware of my surroundings, carrying an extra battery charger with me, having my location shared with friends, and kind of giving like my mom the whereabouts of where I am. That was kind of it. Dating someone your parents don't approve of but you know is good for you, such a healthy relationship, but they can't get past his job / going to college and not university. I think this is always kind of a tough thing to navigate because obviously if you have a good relationship with your parents, you want them to approve and support the person that you are in a relationship with, and same with like your friends that you're surrounding yourself with. Like we do want our parents' approval a lot of the time, but I think you need to remind yourself, like if you are happy and you feel that this is a healthy relationship and you don't care about his job or the fact that he went to college over university and he makes you happy, it is your life. Your parents don't have to live every single day dating this person. You do. Like if you get to the point where you're married and you're building a life even more with this person, like it's not your parents who are going to have to live with it. Like if you choose to end this relationship with this person and to be with someone strictly that like only they approve of, but it's not your person, and you feel like this relationship was so much better, then you're gonna like live every day always like kind of thinking that you made the wrong choice because you picked a partner based off of like what they're expecting of you as opposed to like what you know you need and deserve and want. Obviously, like I don't know your age and like your living situation, like if your parents are still financially providing for you or if you're on your own. And if they are financially providing for you and you're still living under their roof and whatnot, sometimes it's a little harder. And like if you're younger as well, it's a little harder to stand up and stand your ground and to kind of be like, this is what I'm doing. Either you're in it or you're not type of thing when they're still financially supporting you, because you do kind of have to follow to like their rules, their guidelines, etc. if you are like living off of their money and in their house. But if you are moved out and you are supporting yourself, you are allowed to have that conversation. And I honestly encourage you to have that conversation with your parents and to be like, listen, I get that you don't love the fact that he does X for work and that he went to college or university, but there are so many other amazing character traits about him that you would love if you just got past this. And I don't think that these things, like his job or his education, reflects his ability to love and support me and to be a healthy, supportive partner for me. I would love if you could give me your support and respect as well as him. If you love me, you can love him type of thing. Obviously, word it in your own words. Always lead with I statements. Explain why you want them to support you. Don't be reactive. Just like be really like calm, mature, act from a higher place, but you are allowed to kind of set that boundary. And there is nothing wrong with this person. Like, if this relationship is healthy and he makes you happy and he loves you, then like, I think those things are so much more important. Like, if he's still able to support you and to support himself with the job and education that he has, like, just because he has maybe he's in like trades or whatever. Like, so many of my friends' boyfriends work in trades and they are extremely successful. Some of them are even more successful than the guys that I know that went to like top tier universities and work like finance jobs. Like, they're just as successful, if not more. And I think a lot of people forget about that, and some parents can be like really stuck up with that. But I would just communicate that with them and have a conversation and chat with them. And if they don't respect that, then you can choose how you move forward with incorporating your boyfriend into your relationship with your parents. But I think if they love you and you communicate it from a place of calmness and maturity, and you're not reactive and like acting immature towards it, then they'll respect you and they'll probably come around. At least I would hope so. Hi, how to become okay with being single after ending on good terms still broke me a lot, thank you. Becoming single after being in a relationship is always an adjustment. It's almost like you're grieving someone that is still alive. And just because it ended on good terms doesn't mean you don't have a right to be upset, to be hurt, to feel down, to be like constantly thinking about them. Like, that doesn't make it any less valid. If things still ended, a relationship still ended, and someone who was a part of your life significantly is no longer a part of it in the same way, or maybe a part of it at all. But I think being single is something you can be excited about. Again, like, it's always how you frame something. I think being single can have this negative connotation tied to it, and a lot of people think something's wrong with them with being single, and society kind of pushes that on us. But I think being single is really just this beautiful thing, as is being in a relationship. And in being single, you can have so much more opportunity to get to know yourself, to be selfish, to dive into your career, to dive into your hobbies, into your friendships, into your relationships with your parents and your siblings and your cousins and whoever what. I think you just have to learn how to reframe the way in which you look at being single and the way you feel about being single. Find a way to make it feel super exciting and enticing to you. But in terms of like overcoming the breakup, I have learned that there are a few things that you should do in order to kind of move on in a healthy way. And the first thing I have found to really work for me is to let yourself just feel all the feels. Like, don't ignore them, don't numb them, don't throw them under the rug. Really let yourself feel whatever emotion is coming forward, good, bad, funny, whatever it is. Let yourself feel everything, acknowledge it, and let it go. Picture it leaving your mind on a cloud, on a leaf, and just floating away. If you want to dump it in a journal, like do a mind dump, that's also super great. If you're able to talk to a therapist and kind of just like vent it out and work through it, that's also an incredible thing to be able to do. And I know that helped me a lot. Even if you ended on good terms, there was a reason it ended. And I'm truly a believer that what's meant to be will be, and if it's meant to be, it will find its way back to you. Everything happens for a reason. What's meant for you won't pass by you. And obviously there were things that even if you ended on good terms, that caused you to reach the point of breaking up, like something wasn't working for one of you or both of you or whatever it is. So I want you to take your journal or your notes app and write 2 lists, because it's really easy to romanticize relationships and put our ex-partners on pedestals. Once we're out of it, we kind of forget about all the things that we didn't love or we didn't like about the relationship or we didn't love or like about them. So I want you to take a journal or open up the notes app. I strongly encourage you to put pen to paper. I find it so much more therapeutic and impactful. But take pen to paper and I want you to write 2 lists. And I've said this before, but on your first list, you're going to write everything that you disliked or hated about that person and your relationship with them. On the second list, you are going to write everything that you are excited for in life, in your career, things that you want to do, kind of manifest things that you want to do. And then also within that list, things that you want and deserve and need in a partner, whether it's a character trait about them or like the type of relationship that you want to have, how you want to feel, how do you want to be seen, heard, touched, whatever it is. And whenever you find yourself just romanticizing and kind of putting your ex on a pedestal or looking at it through rose-colored glasses, open up this journal, read the 2 lists, and it'll help reground you. I hope that was helpful. Guys, my voice is so shaky today and I'm blaming it on the coffee. I don't know, this happens sometimes when I record later in the day. Maybe this is my sign to record earlier. I just get so filled with energy. My psychic said that I should cover my belly button when I'm recording or talking to people to block out negative energy if there's ever any negative energy. Psychics are so fun and funny like that. I feel like I put so many questions on this page. And we are ready. How far deep are we into this? We're already 32 minutes in, so I definitely am going to pick a few from here and not do all of them. Okay, I really liked this question because it's something I definitely related to a lot. As a girl in college, one of my biggest current challenges is balancing my social life, dating in quotations, academics, and the list goes on. As someone who has always been an overachiever, I find myself constantly feeling the need to be doing something productive and have such a hard time asking for help. Do you have any advice or tips you use for time management? Any ways that you like to de-stress? I'm a semi-new listener and your podcast is one of the things that gets me through my morning hot girl walks. I really enjoy your content, your advice, and overall aura. Keep doing what you're doing, Lan. Aw, that's really sweet. Okay, as someone who is, I like to say, a retired overachiever, definitely can fall victim to my old mindsets and habits and ways from time to time, and having this like constant need to be productive. I want you to practice giving yourself permission to relax. You are allowed to take time for yourself. You do not need to be working from the crack of dawn all the way past midnight. You do not need to be pulling all-nighters all the time. That is not healthy nor beneficial. There is a time and place for it, but it is not something you should be doing all the time. It is not something you should be wearing as a badge of honor. Wearing your burnout as a badge of honor is not cute. It's not hot. It's not sexy. It's not it. Just because you are working more and feel this need to be productive does not mean you are doing more or moving the needle forward or like are more like smarter or more successful. What I have learned is there is a difference between productivity and efficiency. I know this is not groundbreaking, but some of us are just more efficient at doing what we need to do, and it takes us less time. You do not need to be always working a million hours a day, and I know that was something that I struggled with when I was transitioning to working for myself full time. The joy of my job is that I do not have to be sitting 9 to 5. The same way as you are in college, your program may not require as much time as someone in another program, and even you may not need as much time to do your work as someone else in your class or in your program, like as your peer. If you find you are more productive and are more energized and driven to do your work in the morning, and then you want to take a 2-hour break in the middle of the day and go work out and then come back to it for a bit, you are allowed to do that, and you are allowed to give yourself permission to do that. If you do not take time to put energy into your self-care routine to refill your cup, you are going to burn out. You are not going to be able to show up as your best student, and you need to take time to work out, to sleep, to shower, to hang out with friends, to go on a silly little date, to hang out with a boy, like, or whoever you're interested in. You are allowed to do that, and I want you to give yourself permission to do that. And when you feel like this need to sit and work, even if you've completed all that had to be done, like all the priorities, you've completed them, I want you to ask yourself, why do I feel the need to continue to sit here and to force myself to work? Am I looking for some sort of external validation? Is it because I feel like my value is connected to the amount of hours I put into studying? Ask yourself, ask why. And then based off of that answer, how might you change the way in which you choose to act moving forward? Or like, what are you going to change about that behavior? In terms of time management advice, what my academic advisor, counselor used to tell me is when you're studying, you want to set aside 1 to 2 hours per unit when you're studying for like midterms or finals. So say there's like 5 units that you have to study, set aside 6 hours. So you have your 5 hours for one for each unit and then 1 hour for review of everything. And you can do that on like each day, like 1 hour per day leading up to your midterm type of thing. But I always did like time blocking and really loved that. And what was my planner that I used? I used the Passion Planner when I was in university, and I really, really liked it. And I would color code everything. You can even do this on Google Calendar. But I would set aside like an hour or so to do each course whenever I needed to do it. Okay, I think this is going to be the last question. How to find the career field I want to be in. Right now, I have been doing a lot of trial and error and keep getting stuck in entry positions instead of moving up the rank because I don't know what exactly it is that I actually want to do. Girl, person, I have no idea who sent this in. I'm just going to assume it's a girly pop, but you are not alone in feeling this way. I know you and a lot of us 20-something-year-olds, or maybe you're in your 30s, however old you are. A lot of us don't openly talk about this, but we all don't really know what we want to do or what field or role we want to be in. Like, no one really knows. I think it's great that you've been doing a lot of trial and error, and that's definitely something that I would recommend to anyone and everyone who might be unsure what they want to do. But what I'm going to tell for you to do is I want you to challenge yourself and kind of stick it out in a position a bit longer. Give yourself opportunity to get comfortable in a company and to get to know the company better, because in that instance, you might be able to switch into a different role within that company. And as you do that, like move up the rank, and then you can always apply that skill set in the future to different roles at different companies. But your job doesn't have to be this dream role. I think our generation has kind of gotten stuck with that and thinks that you have to absolutely love your job. And while that is super great and it's definitely a privilege to be able to love your job and everything, you're not going to love every single part of your job, even if it is your dream role. Like, I very much love what I'm doing, but I question every single day if I'm doing the right thing. There's things about my job that I don't like, that I dread doing, just as you probably do in your role. And it's totally normal to kind of question like if you're doing the right thing, if you're in the right job. But I feel like as a generation, sometimes we give up a little too soon, and we need to take a page from the boomers' handbook and just stick it out and be a bit more dedicated and loyal to these companies and give them a fair shot. I think it's great that you've done a lot of trial and error. If you feel like you are really stuck and you know in your gut that this job is just really not for you and it's burning you out and you're feeling really low, I'd recommend finding a career coach and speaking with them, because I know from talking to my mom about this, and I was really contemplating talking to a career coach at one point when I was really just like unsure what I was doing and what I wanted to do. They will help you figure out like what's best for you based off your skill set, your interests, and kind of even like the lifestyle that you want to live, because obviously you have to take that into account. Certain roles pay more than others, some take more time than others, some require you to be remote, some you have to be in office, whatever it is. But I think a career coach would be super helpful for you. I'm not entirely sure how you could find one. That's kind of where my advice stops. I know like employee assistant program companies do offer them. So maybe just like Google career coach, employee assistant program or something like that. Maybe even your current workplace has access to that or offers that for you. So definitely look into that, look into your benefits with not that. But I think that is kind of the next step that you can take. If you can't find a career coach, maybe try find like a quiz online that can help determine, because I know like in high school we literally did career assessments, kind of these little quizzes based off of like our interests and our passions and our skill sets and our strengths and our weaknesses that would kind of guide you into what career field or what type of positions you should look for. So definitely maybe check that out. Maybe even talk to friends or alumni at your college or university. If you have older siblings or friends who are a bit older than you or even like your age as well, like maybe talk to them, see what they're doing, maybe see if their positions would be super helpful, and then see if they could connect you and network you in. That's kind of what I would do if I were in your position. But just know that this isn't a feeling unique to you. You're not alone in feeling this way. It's totally normal. And I have a whole bunch of friends who have experienced this and are going through this right now. So just know it's not a you problem. It's an everyone. Like a lot of people feel this way, even if they seem super happy in their jobs and they seem like they know what they want and what they're doing. It's not a thing that's unique to you in the best way possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Morning Ray. I would love if you could leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can leave comments on Spotify that I can reply to, which is super helpful. I love you guys so much, and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.
Zaxby's Sensation Salad is so much more than a plain old salad. It's a salad, which begs the question, at what point does a salad stop being a salad and become a salad? Is it when you add Zaxby's fried chicken to it? Crunchy wontons? Asian slaw? Citrus vinaigrette? Teriyaki glaze? Sweet and spicy sauce? Or is it when you top it all with a handmade perfectly fried egg roll? Without a doubt, the egg roll. The Sensation Salad, only at Zaxby's.